How I accidentally caught my girlfriend cheating through Find My iPhone. This is how I caught my girlfriend cheating through Find My iPhone and walked straight into the most awkward, heartbreaking, and ridiculous situation of my life. It was a Friday night and my girlfriend, let's call her Emily, told me she was going to have a girls' night with her best friend. No problem. I had no reason to suspect anything. She had done this before, and honestly, I was looking forward to a quiet night of gaming, ordering takeout, and not having to pretend I liked rom-coms. So, as she left, she kissed me and said, "Love you, babe. See you tomorrow." I said, "Love you too," and went back to my business, assuming my relationship was 100% fine. Spoiler, it was not. So, a few hours later, I was chilling on the couch, minding my own business, scrolling through my phone. Then, for no particular reason, I decided to open the Find My iPhone app. You know, just to check my own devices, make sure my iPad wasn't dead, see if I had left my AirPods at work. Totally innocent. But then, something caught my eye. Emily's location was on. And guess what? She was nowhere near her friend's house. In fact, she was nowhere near any place she should have been. Her phone was pinging from a cheap-ass motel on the other side of town. What the hell? Now, at this point, a normal person might have just ignored it. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe her friend lived near the motel. But my dumbass? I said, screw it, let's investigate. So, I grabbed my keys, hopped in my car, and drove straight to the motel. Not because I actually thought she was cheating, but because I needed to see it with my own eyes. Biggest mistake of my life. I pulled up to the motel, parked a little out of sight, and just sat there for a minute, staring at the building. I could feel my heart racing. Then, just as I was about to psych myself out and leave, I saw her, Emily, walking out of a room, with some dude, laughing, smiling, looking way too comfortable. And that's when reality hit me like a brick to the face. She wasn't just cheating. She was having the goddamn time of her life doing it. At this point, my rational brain completely shut off. I don't even remember making the decision to get out of the car. I just found myself walking toward them. Emily saw me first, and her face went pale. Her little laugh died instantly. The dude next to her? Completely clueless. He just looked at me like, "Who's this random guy?" I took a deep breath and said, "So, girls' night, huh?" The silence was so awkward it could have killed a small animal. Now, at this point, you'd think she would just admit it. You'd think she would at least try to apologize. But no. Instead, she hit me with, "Babe, this isn't what it looks like." Really, Emily? Not what it looks like. You just walked out of a damn motel room with some guy at midnight, and I'm supposed to believe what? That y'all were in there playing Uno. The dumbest justification ever. The dude finally figured out what was going on and took 2 big steps back. Meanwhile, Emily started rambling like a guilty criminal in an interrogation room. "I was going to tell you." "Oh, were you?" "After breakfast." "It was just one time." "Sure. And I'm the CEO of Amazon." "I didn't want to hurt you." "Well, mission failed, Emily." At this point, I was just done. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I just pulled out my phone, opened Find My iPhone, and showed her the screen. If you weren't lying, I never would have seen this. She had nothing left to say. The breakup, short, sweet, and petty. I didn't even wait for more excuses. I just turned around, walked to my car, and drove home. By the time I got there, my phone was blowing up with texts. "Please, let's talk. I made a mistake. I still love you. Blah blah blah." I blocked her and never looked back. The dumbest twist, the guy had no idea she was taken. A week later, the guy DM'd me on Instagram. Turns out she told him she was single. So he was pissed too. We ended up grabbing beers together and bonding over the fact that we both got played by the same lying psychopath. Honestly, best revenge ever. If your gut tells you something's off, check. Find My iPhone is either your best friend or your worst nightmare. If someone says, "It's not what it looks like," it's exactly what it looks like. Never date someone who sucks at covering their tracks. Would I go through this again? Hell no. But at least I got a new drinking buddy out of it. How I almost got beat up for cheating I didn't even do. Alright, listen. I've made some bad decisions in life, but getting accused of an affair I wasn't even involved in? That one was not on my bingo card. I wasn't cheating. I wasn't sneaking around. I didn't even know the girl in question. But that didn't stop some raging lunatic from trying to knock my teeth out in the middle of the street. Here's how it all went down. A completely normal day. So, it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was just walking home after grabbing a coffee. I had my headphones in, minding my business, enjoying life. And then, out of nowhere, some dude comes charging at me. I mean full speed. At first, I thought maybe he was running for the bus. Nope. This man was running for me. Before I could even react, he got right in my face, grabbed my hoodie and screamed, "You think I wouldn't find out? You're screwing my girl?" What? The confusion hits hard. Now, imagine being me in this moment. I'm halfway through a sip of coffee. I have no idea who this guy is. I definitely have no idea who his girlfriend is. But he's frothing at the mouth, looking like he's about to turn my face into a modern art piece. So, naturally, I did the only thing I could do. I blurted out the dumbest response possible. "Bro, I don't even have a girlfriend." Which was true, by the way. Painfully true. But this did not calm him down. Instead, he shook me harder and yelled, "Don't lie to me. She showed me your messages." "What messages?" "Bro, I have never texted another man's girlfriend in my life. If anything, I was texting my food delivery guy more than actual women." At this point, I was seconds away from getting punched, so I did the only logical thing. I yelled back, "What's her name?" He blinked. For the first time, he looked slightly confused. Then he gritted his teeth and said, "You know her name, asshole." Bro, I literally do not. So now we're in a full-blown public standoff. People are staring. A guy across the street is filming. I have one mission: prove my innocence before I die. So I pull out my phone and say, "Show me the messages. Right now." He hesitates. His face is still red, but now he's less sure of himself. He pulls out his own phone and angrily scrolls through some screenshots. And finally, he shoves the screen in my face. And what do I see? A conversation with some random dude who looks absolutely nothing like me. Same haircut maybe? But that's where the similarities ended. I pointed at the picture and said, "Bro, that's not me." Silence. His eyes dart between the photo and my actual face. Slowly, I see the gears turning in his caveman brain. Finally, he squints and mutters, "Wait, shit, maybe it isn't you." "Bro, you think?" At this point, I should have been mad. But honestly, I was just relieved I wasn't about to get decked. The dude steps back, scratches his head and goes, "My bad. You kinda look like him." That's IT. You just choked me out in public over a kinda? I just stared at him, waiting for him to say something intelligent. But nope. He just stood there, looking at his phone like it had betrayed him. Then he hit me with, "Want a beer?" I feel bad. Bro. I politely declined and walked away before my brain fully shut down from secondhand stupidity. A week later, I get a DM on Instagram from a random girl. His actual girlfriend. She saw the viral video of our street fight that wasn't and messaged me. "OMG, I am so sorry about that. He's insane. Also, turns out he was cheating on me the whole time." Bro, I almost got beat up for this man's cheating. If you're gonna accuse someone, at least make sure it's the right person. Having a generic-looking face is a liability. If a dude runs at you in public, run first, ask questions later. When in doubt, demand receipts. Screenshots don't lie. Would I go through this again? Hell no. Would I at least take the free beer next time? Maybe. How I caught my girlfriend cheating because of a food delivery notification. I always thought that if I ever found out someone was cheating on me, it would be through something dramatic, like catching them in the act, a mysterious text message, or a friend spilling the truth. What I didn't expect was that I'd catch my girlfriend because of a damn food delivery notification. But that's exactly what happened. And let me tell you, this might be the dumbest way anyone has ever gotten caught. It was a Friday night, and I was actually looking forward to just chilling at home, playing some video games, and maybe ordering some takeout. My girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, had texted me earlier saying, "I'm exhausted, babe. Long day. Just gonna shower and go straight to bed." No problem. I offered to come over and bring her food, but she said, No, I'm just gonna sleep. We'll hang out tomorrow." All right. Makes sense. I didn't think much of it. So I grabbed my controller, threw on some YouTube in the background, and got lost in a game for a few hours. And then, the notification popped up. So here's the thing. Sarah and I shared a food delivery app because we always ordered food together, and we used my account most of the time. And because I'm a dumbass, I still had notifications turned on. So while I was mid-game, my phone buzzed, and I glanced over to see. "Your order is on the way." 10 minutes. Wait, my order? Bro, I hadn't ordered anything. I tapped the notification and pulled up the details. And that's when I saw it. 1 large pepperoni pizza. Mozzarella sticks. 2 sodas. Delivery address, not her apartment. Now, at this point, my brain was doing backflips. Maybe it was a mistake? Maybe she had food sent to a friend's place? But something felt off. So, naturally, I did the one thing no sane person would do. I decided to go check. The dumbest investigation ever. I hopped in my car and drove straight to the mystery address. Now, let me just say, I had no plan. Like, what was I even gonna do? Just knock on the door and be like, "Hey, just wondering why my girlfriend's food is here?" Yeah, real solid detective work, Sherlock. But I had to see for myself. So I parked down the street, just in time to see the delivery guy walking up to the door. And that's when the front door opened. And guess who was standing there, smiling, wearing pajamas, and taking the food like it was the best night ever? Sarah. And some random dude standing right behind her, processing the dumbest betrayal of my life. Now, you ever have one of those moments where your brain refuses to accept reality? Like, my first thought wasn't, "Oh, she's cheating." It was, why the hell would she order from my account? Bro, why would you use the shared food delivery account to cheat? She could have made a new account. She could have paid in cash. She could have literally done anything else. But no. She decided to risk our entire relationship for mozzarella sticks. And at that moment, something inside me just snapped, making my presence known. I wasn't gonna do anything crazy. No screaming, no dramatic scenes. Instead, I did the pettiest thing possible. I pulled out my phone, canceled the order while she was holding the bag. And the best part? Since it was my account, the app literally sent a message to the driver saying, "Order has been canceled by the account owner. Please return food to the restaurant." Sarah and mystery dude stood there, completely confused as the delivery guy slowly took the bag back out of her hands. She looked at her phone, saw my name, and then her soul left her body. She tried calling me. I declined. Then she texted, "Babe, wait, I can explain." "Oh, I bet you can. Let me guess, he's just a friend?" I ignored her, drove home, and proceeded to block her on everything. The next day, she showed up at my place, crying, begging me to talk. Her excuse? It was a one-time mistake, it didn't mean anything, I just needed comfort. Real comforting. I asked why the hell she used my account to order food for another dude. And her response? "I didn't think you'd check." Bro, that's the best you got. Obviously, we broke up. But the funniest part? Mystery dude dumped her too. Apparently, he found out she had told him she was single. When he realized she was cheating on me to be with him, he bailed. So she lost both of us. And I ended up using the free food credits I got from canceling the order to buy myself a pizza for one. Because at least I knew I wouldn't betray myself over mozzarella sticks. Lessons learned from the dumbest cheating attempt ever. If you're gonna cheat, don't use the shared food account. Mozzarella sticks are good, but not ruin your relationship good. If someone gets caught, their excuse will always be terrible. When in doubt, just cancel the damn order and let karma handle the rest. Would I do it all over again? Would I ever share my food delivery account with someone again? Hell no. How I accidentally became a rich guy's personal assistant and almost ruined his business. Hell, I could barely manage my own life, let alone someone else's. But somehow, through a ridiculous series of mistakes, misunderstandings, and my inability to say no at the right time, I ended up working as a personal assistant for a multimillionaire. A job I was never hired for. A job I was absolutely unqualified for. A job where I nearly destroyed a business empire. Here's how it all happened. So, one day I was at this fancy hotel, just chilling in the lobby, waiting for my friend who was running late. Meanwhile, this businessman-looking dude in an expensive suit was pacing back and forth, barking into his phone about how his new assistant had quit last minute. I wasn't really paying attention, until, out of nowhere, he marches up to me and says, "You must be Eric. You're late." Now, my name is not Eric. But before I could correct him, he shoves a folder into my hands, tells me to follow him, and walks toward the elevators. I had two options at this point. Tell him he had the wrong guy. Shut up and see where this goes. Naturally, I chose option number 2. Welcome to your new job, imposter. Before I knew it, I was in this massive corner office on the top floor of the building, sitting across from Mr. Montgomery, a high-powered investor who apparently thought I was his new personal assistant. Still not sure how to get out of this situation, I did what I do best. I winged it. "Mr. Montgomery, I hope you're better than the last guy. He was an idiot." "Me? Oh, absolutely. Total amateur. I run things differently." "Mr. Montgomery, good. Here's your first task. Reschedule my afternoon meetings, confirm my lunch with the CEO of Green Tech, and get me a double espresso in the next 5 minutes." Me, on it? But I had no idea how to do any of those things. Faking it like a pro, sort of. At this point, I should have just come clean and left. But no. Instead, I spent the next 4 hours pretending to be a high-level executive assistant. Here's how that went. Rescheduling meetings? I just randomly emailed people saying, "Mr. Montgomery has a scheduling conflict. Let's touch base next week." Confirming lunch? No idea who the CEO of Green Tech was, so I just called the fanciest restaurant in town and said, "Put a table on hold under Montgomery." Getting coffee? That one was easy. Until I spilled it on my own shirt. Shockingly, no one questioned me. By the end of the day, I was still employed. And somehow, Montgomery loved me. For the next 2 weeks, I lived like a king. I had free access to a luxury office. I got to eat fancy business lunches that I wasn't even supposed to be at. I got paid more in 2 weeks than I usually made in 2 months. The job was actually stupidly easy, because every time Montgomery asked me to do something, I just said, "I'm on it." Then I'd delegate everything to his actual employees, who assumed I was legit, and let them do all the work. It was the perfect scam. So, one day, Montgomery calls me into his office and says, "Eric, I need you to finalize the Q4 investment report and send it to the board." Which, in normal words, meant, "Eric, I need you to do something that I have absolutely no business touching." At this point, I was too deep into the lie to back out. So I just nodded and said, "Absolutely. Consider it done." But I had never seen an investment report in my life. So I did what any logical person would do. I Googled how to write an investment report and threw together a bullshit PowerPoint presentation with fancy charts and completely made-up numbers. Then I emailed it to the entire board. The next morning, Montgomery stormed into the office, looking furious. I immediately thought, "Welp, this is how I die." But instead, he slammed his phone on the desk and said, "Eric, that report? The board loved it. Best damn report they've seen all year." What? Apparently, my nonsense had accidentally made perfect business sense. At this point, I should have quit while I was ahead. But no, I got cocky. I started taking longer lunch breaks, skipping meetings, and giving vague big-picture advice. Eventually, Montgomery realized I wasn't actually doing anything. And one day, after a particularly badly faked phone call, he just looked at me and said, "Eric, who the hell are you?" And that, my friends, was my cue to run. I nodded slowly, grabbed my coffee, and said, "You know, Mr. Montgomery, I think my work here is done." Then I walked out and never came back. To this day, I have no idea how long it took for them to realize I was never actually hired. But I like to think that somewhere in that office, There's still an empty desk with my name on it, waiting for a guy named Eric to come back. Final lessons from my time as a fake executive assistant. Confidence can take you very far. Business people love buzzwords. Just say synergy and leverage a lot. Never agree to write an investment report if you don't know what investments are. If a rich guy mistakes you for his employee, just go with it. Would I do it again? Okay, maybe. But this time, I'd ask for stock options.